Good morning, good evening, everybody, depending on which time zone you are. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's webinar. Actually, today's webinar is in a podcast format. So we have Dr. Sean here, and of course, I think most of you have met him in the past webinars or in one of his retreats or one of his workshops. He has been holding retreats and workshops every month, and his retreats, I've attended a few of them, and they're very, very powerful. They are real healing based on the Marma Siddha techniques of southern India. And today we have pleasure of uh, having Sarah Ladd with us. So she is a practitioner herself, and she has her own practice. And I'll let Sarah introduce herself as well. So she is going to question Dr. Sean, and the today's topic. All of us are afraid of dying, whether we accept it or not. That's the fear in our mind, back of our mind all the time. So Dr. Shan has had techniques, and I've seen some of them, which can really help you improve the quality of your life. So Sarah is going to would that be right? Question and challenge Dr. Shan on
Yes,
how can that be effectively done. So Sarah, I pass it on to you. Take it from here, please. Thank you.
thank you. Begin with the questions, Dr. Shan.
Kindly, please.
Okay. If modern medicine is more advanced than ever, why are people still dying earlier from lifestyle related diseases?
So, it's a very good question. So, is modern science advanced? If it is advanced, why still we have disease? So, see, today we claim that modern science has also prevented, vaccinations and other things, pollen, um, uh, earlier days we had problems. If you look at even many droughts came, modern science has helped in that situation. There are pandemics different times. So the claim is that modern science has definitely shown a big improvement in lives. But here we are talking about like daily. The real situation is that we have one in two family have cancer. Here it's a developed nation, United States, right? One in around 30 is autistic. A little kid is autistic. So what is happening here? There's something wrong that's happening. We have a good system is good. We have a modern system that is good, which is enforcing certain things, some rules, definitions, etc. But the whole concept is not holistic. It is limited, and it is looking at, like, it's called a linear model. A linear model is, see, for example, you have, your blood level is low. Is there a way to find what is your blood level? Whether you have the right blood? There's no way. The only way I think is that since blood has iron, so if we check the iron, hemoglobin level, then you will find, your blood is right. Okay. So think about eating some food. And, modern science recommends. So if you look at all the recommendations, there is a dietary plan for modern science. What food we eat, etc. Today, The government is also changing a lot of things. There is debate on those things. Protein and calcium or something is a requirement. So if you eat calcium, you will get more calcium in your body. If you eat protein, you'll get more protein in our body. Is this right? Is this what modern science says? Now, in order to drink, in order to, make blood, do you drink blood? So in the ancient days, they talk about 7 types of tissues. Food is converted into 7 types of tissues. Saptadhadus we call it. So in the Saptadhadus, the final thing is sexual vital fluid. It converts into sexual vital fluid and then energy is broken. So food is converted into, rasa, we call it like the plasma, and then we have blood. From the blood, part of the blood is converted into the flesh into fat into bone into bone marrow into sexual vital fluid, and their energy is broken. Now, this is a step. Who is doing this? This intelligence, whatever food you eat, is converting everything. The intelligence inside us, the consciousness or God that is sitting inside us is doing this. So if you're claiming that protein will convert into protein, calcium will convert into calcium, then what is sexual vital fluid made up of? You eat sexual vital fluid to get sexual vital fluid, or you drink blood to get blood. So think about these things. Whatever they could find, they were trying to find some answers for that. So it's a very narrow way of looking at this whole body. It's a limited perspective, and when you are checking up, so if you take some iron tablets, you will have iron, more iron, definitely. Think about it. Or if you eat something that is rich in iron, you will have iron, but that doesn't mean that's your blood. This number game is not a real thing. So the whole idea that the today what they're doing is the number game. This is low, you do this. So what happens? They instill fear in humans. So that's fear only drives the business. Either you can sell calcium in terms of milk, which is a big, crazy industry. Milk is the most dangerous industry, I can say. And if you don't take that milk, you can take calcium tablets. There's another pharma industries. So either way, they want to promote both of these. So it's a business model. There is nothing to monitor. There is no body such that it can monitor these things, whether this is working for a long term, for a number of years. There is no body like that. There is no government body or something that's looking at really these things are helping them. Is this medicines? Is this vaccine? Are we checking them throughout their life? What is happening? So there is no body like that. So today, it is impossible to trust modern science, even though modern science was also at certain point were all holistic only. All sciences were holistic in this world. If you look at our forefathers, everybody, any culture, they were holistic only. But today, modernization, every country is going crazy. In Tamil, we say, Vegam Keduthandi Veyandanadi Velga. Vegam Keduthandi Veyandanadi Velga means you slow down the process. You're running. Your mind is running. So you do a lot of mistakes. Slow down. There's no hurry. There's nothing to push. There's no hurry to push. There's no ambulance needed in life. You see what I mean? No ambulance. Every day you're saying, listen, ambulance, you're going to die, you're going to do this. and instilling the fear, and that seed is going to bring you death. So simple. Make sense, Sarah? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Very good. So you mentioned diet. Is early death driven more by what we eat or by how, when, and why even we eat in a fast-paced society?
So this is also important question. Why we eat is important. Number one. Why do we eat? So if you look at today, like eating has become an entertainment. Okay. It doesn't mean you don't have to enjoy eating. But eating itself an entertainment. So because see, I play tennis, and then we have our friends. They ask about what did you do this this Thanksgiving time. Did you eat a lot? Did you sleep? This is the question. Did you enjoy food? And so I was in fasting. Whoa, really? I can't believe that. Fasting is Thanksgiving time. Because see, today what we want is, we want disease. Food is the main cause for most of the disease. I would contribute 40 to 50% of disease is caused by food. It's caused by what you eat, when you eat, how you eat. Definitely. These three are very important. So let us look at, so why you eat, we'll see why you eat. Why you eat is similar to the fuel tank. You're filling the fuel tank, the gas in a car. The gas tank is limited. Then it'll deplete its time. But this our system is programmed. This is the time when the body functions, your stomach functions. There is something called the Sarasutra Gadigaram, which means ancient biological clock. According to this clock, there are times when our body functions, particular organs function. So stomach functioning, intestine functioning are only at particular time. So during that time, if you eat and give you don't need other kind of fasting and all this intermittent fasting. If you regularly eat on the time when our body functions, that itself is fasting if you don't eat anything in between provided, right? So what we do, we'll take something in between, some other things when the wrong organ is operating, right? Say for example, 10 o'clock in the morning, there's a peak when the spleen functions. The spleen functioning is called Amaveli. That's detoxing entire body. Organs has its own functions. So during that time, you start to eat, all the energy will go towards the digesting the food. So no energy will be there to do the detox. So what happens? We will have problems because toxins will remain in the body. So the timely eating, when you eat, is very important. Then how you eat? Not watching movies, not talking in restaurants. That's what we do in the United States. Only in restaurants we talk because that's the time family get together. But when you're talking, the ancient knowledge is called Yaman. Yaman, talking and eating, the god of death is near you, say. So we have to taste the 6 tastes. So in our, I'm doing this in this retreat, 30, 31st and 1st of this month, 30 and 31st and February 1st, we have a retreat in North Carolina. So I'm going to do this particular thing is a taste therapy. Taste therapy is that just by eating your food properly, you can do the healing. There are 6 types of taste described in ancient literature. This will never change. No new things can be found out. Any thousand of years, you cannot find anything else. These are the 6 tastes. If you taste them properly and eat, when you're eating any food, if you taste them properly, for taste them, we have to chew the food very nicely, mindfully, and enough saliva. Say we have this habit of, I tell my kids, don't go for all these chewing gums and other things. Once in a while you can have for exercise probably. That too, something if it is organic. But chewing gums and candies, what they do is they suck our saliva. So most of our saliva are wasted in this process. And when you eat food, we will not have enough saliva. It's called the bodhaka kapha. Is required. It need to mix with our food. And when you eat a solid food, it should be like finally you are drinking it, instead of gulping it and swallowing like that. That's why in ancient days there is no medicine that, swallowing medicine kind of thing. It always has to go through the mouth. This swallowing medicine, nowadays we have pills. Pills are a wrong way of going into the body. Right? So it has to touch through the tongue, make the body prepare, and you go. So this is the way you eat. What you eat is a big topic, but then, I'll shorten this because we will allow others to question also. So what you eat is what that. So yesterday my son's question was into his biology, teacher. He's a 9th grader, second one. So today we are talking about, including red meat, the dietary thing, the government. What do you think about? I'm a vegetarian, he said. I'm a vegetarian, I've been eating. So that the teacher said, well, you're a vegetarian is fine, but did your grandparents live longer? And he said, yes. My great-grandparents are like 100, my father used to tell 106 years, 102 years, and my great-grandmother is living. He came and saw his grandmother, right? So he said, yes. And he said, and he's a little conscious person. He said, yes, that's what you need to follow. If your diet works that way, you keep up with the diet. Now, it's a bigger question then. There are vegetarians, non-vegetarian, doesn't matter. But does it go by what kind of food it is? Now we are going to look at karmic kind of food versus non-karmic. What can karmic food do? When you hurt self or others, right, including the plants, animals, etc., there will be a karma. Okay. So this karma will be minimum in the plants. It doesn't mean there will be no karma. Plant has the minimum karma. Fruits do not have karma. So the best food, the more fruits you add in your diet, is less karma. And then if you have, fruits, vegetables are good. If you take an underground plant, it will die immediately. You're taking a life. If it is So like that, they have calculated what kind of food you eat, what is sattvic, how you cook. All these things matters. The way you cook matters. So food means like how you cook. There are rajas, tamas, and sattvic. Okay. So sattvic food means is high. This is a quality of food. How you cook. You are taking a organic component, a whole grain, and then you are making it, steaming it, and then you are eating it. Right. Is so different from you taking anything and then you are barbecuing it and eating it. So it gets into tamasic. So the way you cook, they defined in the ancient days, how you cook matters, what you cook matters. Right? So the whole idea, if you really eat the good food, you will stay longer. But also, here the question is, how not to die earlier. So it's not about how, not only dying here, the thing matters also. We cannot even suffer also. Just because you don't die, you don't want to suffer. So in order to remove suffering, we need to go for the whole planet, need to go globally. It's not looking at it religiously or anything. We have to go for karmic free food. Not just cruelty free food. Karmic free food. And also, this food need to be complete. Karmic means, see, one karmic is very good in one. You're not killing any insects. It's not karmic. You cannot put chemicals there. You're not growing, no pesticides, no herbicides, no chemical things. All these are killing either the organisms in the earth, which is visible organism, non-visible organism, microorganisms, nano-organisms, or the materials we decompose. So all these things matter. So that is the way. So we have to, when you're eating, self for others. See, in those days, even many sage scientists, Boger, Pulipani Sitar, all these sitters and all, they talk about also food that is made up of non-vegetarian. But this vegetarian food we are talking about is only for medicinal property, and these are taken from dead animals. So when certain things is okay, if you're using for medicinal properties, they are okay. But when it comes to real eating, the right food, you have to go from, as you go purify and purify, finally all of the siddhas I have mentioned about the more sattvic food. And moreover, they come out with minimum food, the quantity, minimum food. At 2 times a day, they come to 2 times a day, once a day, and all went to liquid diet. So this is the class. So you will have to keep the scale somewhere there, okay? So that's how, okay, you can go with the next question. So I don't want to take much time on this. We'll discuss later. How do you take care of we'll capture all your questions after Sarah, so I will answer this.
Great information. Two takeaways were the holiday celebrations. I really like that point. I think I've learned that most holidays are based on seasonal transitions, and that originally they were intended to be cleansing and detoxing from the previous phase to move clean and healthy into the next phase. And sadly, it seems most holidays have turned into events where we mistreat ourselves. Bad food, alcohol, staying up all night, cakes. So I think that's a big transition you can address in your lifestyle and also share with others around you. Just the concept to reshift that approach. And then you also mentioned cooking, and I think it's a challenge for a lot of people even to find time to make home cooked food. So that's a good place to start. even before considering what you're cooking. Do you agree with that?
Yes, of course. And you also agree with that because you have been cooking, right? So
Yes.
you tell me a little bit about how you may manage with your kids with all the holistic thing that you're doing.
You just have to decide to make it a priority. Fruits are very helpful. You can take fruits in the car, and drinking good water, I think, is helpful as well. So again, you have to make it a priority. The more you do it, the easier it is. And you can make large pots of good things. Soups are fantastic. It's another way to hydrate. Yeah, you just have to start and
Yes,
make up your mind that it's very important.
sure, definitely. So you, thank you, Sarah. So you have been living a conscious life also. So that's why I wanted to ask you this question to you back, because we need American moms living here. We can tell them that this is possible. We can go organic, have your own garden, right? Develop our even in a small scale, or you find somewhere any small scale and farming, the local farmers, they make organic things. So first thing is to go completely organic. So it's not about a label. You have to find out what is real organic. Just don't go organic. If it is just it's a labeled, you can have a frozen organic thing, but is it have prana? So every food that we see in ancient science is like, does it have prana? Prana means what? So if you take a frozen peas, for example, frozen peas or beans, and you're you're sowing it in the soil, right, on the earth, does it grow, or does the dried one, even if you keep in the fridge, it will stay there, it'll have some life force. So in ancient days, we dried ones only. We did dried ones. Every culture did dried ones only. You look at, before the fridge came. Fridge is an industrial thing. You think all the modern thing is for only selling. They want to sell fridge. So they will tell you to do this, all the products came after that. So if you dry everything, the energy will be there. Right? So use more dried in the winter time, use more dried ones, what we dried. Summertime, use more fresh ones. So the season wise also it will be good actually, right? So because we need dried ones in the colder season, more dried ones, so that more kapha is not produced in our body. It's dried ones are heat causing potential, most of the pulses. So that's how we should go. Yeah.
Excellent. I also help people transition to more vegetarian lifestyles. A few things I thought of when you were speaking. There's all justifications for meat that we have the incisors in our ancestors. I think something to consider is that if you had to hunt or kill and slaughter an animal, you wouldn't do it as often as it's so convenient to go to the store and purchase. So I think that's a very important step. And thinking about your plate, that it's not half meat with a little bit of carbs and vegetables, that it's half vegetables. So you can start just by reducing the amount of meats that you eat. And it has a huge impact on your health, because a piece of meat can take average of 3 to 5 days to digest in the body, depending on if it's red meat or fish. So if you have digestive issues or elimination issues, addressing your meat diet can be a big start. And also the impact on the environment, reducing the chain of supply and demand.
Yes, definitely. See, there's a slow transition. We need to make this slow transition. if we collectively make this transition, we will be able to make the best diet in the world, and things will change. That time numbers will change. See, today, if you don't drink milk, you will have a deficiency called B12 deficiency. Okay. But B12, this is not a standard because it is not taken within the vegan community. What is the that should be the standard? Like BMI index, every culture, they have their own BMI index, actually, So similarly, these numbers are relative things, right? So you don't have to really worry about these things. As long as the health wise, if you feel, see, if something happens to you, if death comes, you will have a call. You will know. That's the truth. Whatever death comes, even if it is an accident, you will know. Something will tell you. So, the more you don't want to die early, especially in accident. See, if you want to die naturally. Everybody. Okay. Not with the disease, not with the heart attack, not with suffering, mental disorders, Alzheimer's, all this earlier age. We don't have to. So if you want to die, that's a full life. No death is another thing. That's another higher subject. If you don't want to die, there is another path. Okay. So I'm not coming to that subject. Yeah.
Next question. Can a life filled with chronic stress and constant productivity truly be called a long life, even if it lasts many decades?
So again, can you repeat this?
I think it's talking about quality of life, that even if you live to be 80 or 90, but your life is filled with chronic stress and this idea of constantly producing, what is the quality of life, even if it lasts for a long time?
Yeah. See, there is a difference between productivity. Like people talk about productivity. What are you useful? Like, what are you doing? You're making money out of it. You're doing something like that. So, well, these are, see, if you have an interest, you can live. But what interests are, most of the interests that we are created are not your natural intuitive interest. So many things are driven by corporates. So you have to know that your money is nothing but your biomagnetism, your productivity or efficiency or whatever you call is the energy, as only your biomagnetic energy. How much? The intensity of biomagnetism will determine your life. Now, you can live longer, but you can have chronic stress. You can be a problematic to everybody. Angry person, and you're not the, giving problems to your husband, wife, everybody, they hate you and you die. It's a terrible life. Why do you want to live long? So that's a different story. So if you want to live a life, the quality is very important. So you should be blessed by everyone. Try to make good friends. Try to be a good parent. Try to be a good husband and wife. Try to be a good child to your parents. Still your child only. Any age your parents. Try to forgive them. Whatever they have problem. So forgiveness is very, very important. And we have this in forgiveness is given in the Western culture. We have forgiveness is a big thing. But implementation is very difficult. You know that Bible says big time about forgiveness. But people don't implement it. It's all like outside, it's all good. But when it really comes, There's no forgiveness. You look at the law and orders and everything that we doing today. There's no forgiveness in there, right? It's acceptance, seeing humans as God. That's where forgiveness comes. That's why the Jesus Christ real teachings comes. Seeing God, human as God himself or herself, right? So if you look at, then we can live longer. So we have to give this love and compassion is part of the God. The consciousness itself is love and compassion. So without developing these qualities, if you want to live longer, people curse you, and all this curse will become a disease. Disease do not come just by food, as I told you. Other people's curse, your Panchabhuta destruction, there is if you do something to the Panchabhuta 5 elements, they come back to you, right? If you had harmed any insects, all these things that we do, they have an harm. If you're putting chemicals, your toothpaste can give karma, nothing else. Just by using chemicals and spitting it, you will be killing many things. So that's why often we think that I am very good person, why I am getting karma. There are n number of passive things that we do that create karma. So it's not just that the active thing that we do alone makes karma, builds karma. So this is very important. So the number of things that we do, we don't have time for much things. You don't have time for making investment, there's no time. Where do you have time for that? The only time we have is to clean this body, clean this mind. That's it. Along with this, you will have other things. Whether you can teach, extend this to others, your family, other families, villages. This is how much we can do. We don't have much time to do anything in this life. Where is this time? If you look at each thing, it takes time. For me, it took so much time to find one ingredient that is good for life, to find that and keep it resources, bringing it again, implementing it again. Like you need the energy and time for that. So you can probably open for others, or you want one or two questions short. You are muted.
Do you want to pause for question? The next segment of
Yeah.
questions is from the Siddha philosophical perspective. If you want to shift or you want to pause.
Yeah, we'll shift to the other, others. We'll have other people now have their questions on this, and then we shift to philosophical.
Great.
We'll throw it to them. Yes, anybody?
Yes. So one question I have, what I have heard in spiritual circles, the day you're born, your last day is fixed. Right? The day you're born, your last day is fixed. So you don't have control of that last day. Is that really true? We are talking about not dying early, but if that endpoint is fixed, are we discussing a wrong topic?
See, there are many sage scientists. You heard about Saptarishis and many other, all the Siddhas. They have contributed to this document, right? Where if you go to Nadi Shastra, we call Nadi Shastra, it's called. So there is a palm leaf for everyone. If you go to south of India in Tamil Nadu, you can find the palm leaf of yourself. Anybody, they go there, they will tell this is Sarah lad from this country. This is the thing you may have. They'll ask few questions to you, and they will find out, okay, the husband's name starts with this, like this. And then finally they find, okay, this is the thing. Then they will talk about all the things about you. You have so many brothers, this is the thing, etc. And then they will find the right palm leaf for you. This is the truth. This has been written for several thousand years back. This document is there. So anybody you go there, you can get this document. If you find yours, then your history is done. You know your future. But the truth is, it is like the planets. And the planets move around the sun. The planet has its own self-rotation. And it also revolves around the sun because the sun is a field. Sun has a field which is carrying all these planets. I'm talking ancient science. So, if you don't have anything, you will fall into this. As Dr. Gupta ji said, exactly, you will fall into the whole picture of the collective, the gravity of the any field, the field. Okay, so you will definitely, whatever is written in your head, that will happen. But human beings, we have three kind of freedom has been given to human beings. Freedom to use the physical body, freedom to use the mind, freedom of consumerism. With this freedom, what we get is the free will. Only human beings have that. We can decide when to die. That's the power of human being. We can change the fate. Right? And it is possible because we are in the peak of consciousness. As we evolve this physical body, see, normal people they live in Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha means they will eat food and they sleep, they wake up, not thinking about other things. That is different. That is different without evolving, you're just living there. It's survival. It's called survival. And other people, they do all the other things, music, or you go to school, chemistry, learning all those things, mathematics. All this is a Manomaya Kosha. But as you evolve into Vijnanamaya Kosha, higher level consciousness, and Anandamaya Kosha, you can change everything. But for normal person, that will work. They will go to that only. They will die as written.
So you're saying the free will, you can, as a human being, exercise the free will and you can not die early, right? As written in the book.
Exactly. Exactly. You not only not die early, you not die also. You don't even have
Totally
to
different
die.
dimension, right? You don't have to die.
Yes. So the people, if you look at, there are things about, Tirumula lived for 3,000 years, Boga lived for so many. See, they are references. What they mean, you see, sage scientist Vallalar was in the 18th century is claimed to be not dead. Okay. Now, are we seeing him physically? So now, whether this is physical, what happens is, we have to convert this body, physical body. I'm not saying like after you die, your soul goes to, no. This physical body, they have a method to convert this physical body into completely a black hole, where it captures the light and you cannot see. But if you turn your frequency, you will be able to see this. So therefore they consume. So he went inside the room, he told to lock everything. All the little dots, even a gap. And then he converted himself into light. And then the government comes there and then they open up. Next day, there's nothing there. It disappears. Now again they locked it after that because he wrote certain things, you have to lock this and keep it this way. But this technique was there in the ancient days also. They convert themselves into complete black hole, which is the ultimate consciousness itself. They turn this physical body also. That's why, see, you have a bullock cart. Bullock cart, like horse or, the bulls. And there's a cart. So, somebody needs to connect these two things. The bull is separate, cart is separate. Somebody who connects this is our consciousness. So if you don't have a physical body connected to this soul, the life force, okay, then the life force by itself cannot do anything. If you don't have a physical body, life force by itself cannot. That's why when we have the life force in our body, when the body is there, we have to attain that. It's not about when you're dying and you go enlightenment, all those things. When we are in the physical body, we should attain the state of consciousness, and we have that. Path is being given. The step-by-step process where we can get into that consciousness has been clearly given by all the siddhas. All the siddhas. Not one siddhas. So therefore it is a holistic science. It is not a religion. Religion means one person telling and believing in that person's concept. Here many people achieved, so it is a statistics. Therefore it is scientific.
Well, let us see if somebody else has any question here.
So one of the Andy has some question, I think. So what is first his question?
Maybe Andy can unmute and ask the question, right, Andy?
You want me to do that?
Sure.
Yeah, because I was asking a lot of those questions because I found out that among my family list of people from Bulgar, a lot of us are actually people who eat like we eat dead animals, and even people that were like found in the cemeteries or even places that are like in hunting grounds. So I wonder how would eating ethically would work here, because a lot of times like we don't bother to try to live 102 years. A lot of my families, they live like 160. Some of us like they rose up to heaven. That has happened in my family.
Yeah. Well, see, if you look at Boger, Karpamardu, so Boger is an amazing sage scientist. So Boger happened to, there are sources that Boger came from China to Tamil Nadu, and he learned to, all this ancient technique, etc. That's the main thing. Or there is another source that says that Boger was from Tamil Nadu, he went to China. Either way, Boger, as sage scientist, is a sage scientist, is the father of alchemy, modern alchemy. All the elements, he told about all the elements that can be converted. All the atomic structure, everything has been noted. He was the founder of the modern submarines and airplane also. These all are Boger. Boger has given so many things. Boger 7,000, as Boger Karpamarand. So Boger Karpamarand also, like he calculated, he gone deep into the Karpamarand means anti-aging food. But all the siddhas, they were talking about not hurting animals, including Boger. Even though in the medicinal text, Boger talks about even like how you make from a Boger andam, we call it. Andam means egg. With the egg, they make a super food with the head. So one of the thing is that, see, they are very different. Those days are very different. Do we really need that? That's a different story. So today we can produce all food very easily. Hunting and all is a very old fashion. You don't have to hunt that way. Animals, okay, why are you worried about animals? There you say, animals, the deers the number will increase. So we have to do hunting. See, God knows what to do. When animals, human population, who will kill the humans when human population is high? It's a God's deed. If it has to do through the Panchabuddha, some hurricane, something will happen. Right? So we don't have to really worry about that. So the only thing is, if you want to consciously evolve, this tamasic rajas, sattvic means Sattva guna means if you want to become very quiet, you cannot have rajasic food and get sattvic guna. Food only converts into our mind. So the karmic imprints will be there no matter what. Okay. So in today, see, even in the Bible, there's Jesus talks about fish, eating, but that is the fisherman. So he can only make more fish for fishermen. What else can he do? He cannot tell them to eat something else, right? But here we are going even deeper. Our sage scientists have gone deeper into the concept of vegetarianism is a higher consciousness. It is a developed thing. So more than 5,000 years, Bogar Kalam and all is probably 5,000 years, they say. Even 5,000 years, they mentioned about vegetarianism. That is something miraculous. Thiruvallur mentioned, Agathir mentioned, everybody's song mentioned about not hurting any animals. Right? Even plants only getting excuse. Get pray and get the plant. That's how they did. You have to pray the plant, okay, I'm taking this, please, for a good cause. Is what I do. So mostly that's how, the Karpa Marunda and everything is developed. Yeah, well, see, I'm telling you, see, if you go to a fisherman, you will teach fishing. If you go to an animal, wherever it is, in China, these were the things. If you're killing animals, first thing, see, look at Jesus. People started to kill people. So in a relative scale, what is better? Instead of killing people, animal is okay. See, a relative scale they're going. So the first, they will prevent killing people. Then only we can talk about animals. So in a cruel country where people kill people like very easily, what can they say? First they have to show love and compassion to the whole own species. Then only you can show love and compassion to other species. So that's how it goes, right? So you have to look at when, what time, what perspective they have talked about. But overall, many scientists that should not have to be religious in following one kind of scientist or one kind of our own tradition or only our own things. We have to go to different people who have gone deeper into that. If they went deeper into what is the benefit of killing, then we can take it. They went deeper into benefit of non-killing. So that is where science goes. Right? So killing, if you say we all kill, there is a benefit, then we all can kill. Is there a benefit? And is there a good benefit for us?
Trust me, like when it comes to killing, my family kill all the time. We have to kill invaders out of our country because as a ruler, if you don't kill, people will kill you.
Yeah, that is defensive.
If
right?
you do not
So
kill animals and they destroy your crops, who will they blame? They will blame you.
Right. See, this is a different way. See, if you look at one person called Gandhi, right? You know Gandhi, right? So Gandhi, when people came to kill, he says, look at their eyes. Look consciously. They will feel compassion. He saw the God in other person who is the killer. India got independence through non-violence. Okay. It was possible just because of the willpower. It is willpower only. It is not just Gandhi. It is because of our ancient knowledge. Lot of people, all the ancient sage scientists thought that way, and it implemented through Gandhi to show that you can show love and compassion even in that period. That's what Jesus all people did, right? So what are you killing? There's nothing to kill, right? But whatever happens is all our karma. If something has to happen to you, it'll happen no matter what.
Dr. Sean, I just want to interrupt a little bit. So, killing animals, how is it related to longevity? Because the topic of today's talk is really longevity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Dying early. So, is that related or that should
Yeah,
be a
because we are
separate
talking
topic?
about, yeah. So the killing of an animal, will will induce a karma in our body. So definitely when we have a disease, that karma is form as a disease in our body. Or when we have a disease, this karma will not help. It's not a good karma. And therefore, we will be starting to heal, but you will be eating the soup. The doctors will tell you eat more chicken broth to heal yourself. Or, they told my mom she was healing her skin problems. They told you eat egg. She never ate egg in her life. You have to eat egg, otherwise, protein. Then I, I went and, changed everything. Don't tell, don't do this. This is, they're just following the Western way in the, in India and all. They just follow whatever the West says. They just blindly follow. There's so many things for protein that you're already eating, right? So like that, karmic food is not good especially when you have a disease. Prevent karmic food. That itself will heal.
Will that have impact on the life, longevity of life, right? So there's a quality of life, right? So the
Yes.
quality, the way you live. I
Uh,
mean, if you are full of disease, like going to a nursing home and you live for 90 years, but you spend 20 years in a nursing home, a
hmm.
vegetable life,
Yeah.
versus
Well, yes,
good
yes. Well,
quality
that
and
is
long life.
long life. I would say it doesn't matter. As long as long life goes, vegetarian, non-vegetarian doesn't matter. Because even if this body evolves as you, even if they eat red meat, can you survive? Yes, all these modern reasons are not enough. So we need, some different way of understanding this body. So with this body will evolve whatever you eat, but it will evolve into another species. That's all. This body will evolve into another animal species. That's all. You can be this, you can eat this, you can live even 100, 120 years. It's possible. But do we live as a human being? That's where things matter. To become a human being is different. To become God in the human being form is the ultimate goal of a Siddha. Right?
And human being, you mean a compassionate human being, a loving human being?
Exactly. Human. That's the meaning of human. Humanity. Right? So that if that is lacking, why do what is the use of living? You can because both statistics, people who are. I have a grandmother who is a complete non-vegetarian. She's now not eating completely. My grandfather is a maternal. He's a vegetarian. He's affected by Vinoba Bhave, Gandhi and all. Vinoba Bhave used to come and stay in my grandparents' house. So he is ahimsic. He doesn't, so very calm person. He lived around 98 years, right? Close to. My grandmother, she is living now 101 year. She is a non-vegetarian. She has been eating with non-vegetarian. In that whole village, there are vegetarians and non-vegetarians. I know in that village, small village, some 40, 50 houses were there. And majority of them centenarians. So with these small things, it's not enough to determine, but this is what, globally, if you see, we don't see vegetarians. There are many people in many countries, but if you look at, meat was not very accessible. If you look at Okinawa Island, Serodona, all this blue zone or whatever we call them, right? So there, people live longer in Japan and all. So if you look at their lifestyles, the meat consumption was less. They were non-vegetarians, but meat consumption only in 6 months once they ate. So that statistics is there. But my own family, if you look at, both worked out. It is okay. But my grandfather was a godly life. He was God. He is God. Today, everybody blesses him. I'm not saying my grandmother is bad. My family loves my grandmother, not people around her. Because he's old, they would have forgotten. But when she was living, not like that. There's a huge difference between how people live.
So what would you say, an advice would be, right? If I want to live long and a good quality life, right, which is important.
Yes.
A long life is worth it only if the quality of life is good. I mean, if I
First
cannot
of all,
walk,
we
I
have to
cannot
see it.
talk, it's not much use, right? So,
Exactly. So
what will be
first
your
of all,
advice? What will be the main, in a couple of sentences, what will be your advice that people should follow?
so one of the thing is, if you really see what life is, it is not about the living part of life. It is our state of mind that is very important. So if you get detached attachment to life, you're going to a river, you're taking bath, coming back, not drown there. We all have come to this planet for a purpose, like how we are taking bath in a river. But we are not come here to drown and die. We all come from a source, right? One single source of space consciousness. We evolved into this being. And we knowing our true nature will fulfill this life. That consciousness itself evolved into this. We are going back to that consciousness source and finding that source, your father and mother. That is the ultimate, the father and real father and mother, right? The parent, where we evolved from. If that thought arises, then there is a blissful feeling that we can continue to live with that blissful feeling, right? So that is where you need to again and again think about where we came from, what is the purpose, why are we living here in this life. We are not come here to die. That's not our goal. We're not coming here to earn money and save money and get the name, fame, all these things. These all will disappear. Think about your house, anything. Tomorrow you're dead, nothing. Where is your house? Where is this name, fame? All these things are gone. So only thing is that at this moment, we see that the consciousness is living inside us and doing this. That feeling itself is so blissful that all other feelings, that we get out of all the pleasure becomes very less. The detached attachment, because we have to survive in this life, in this body. So therefore we keep that. But our mind, we should keep in the source. And that is the whole training that we want to give you in all the retreats that I am doing, training to become conscious about our own self. So the simple thing is that focusing here as a beginning, I gave you this. This is called Sitrambalam. Sitrambalam means small, Ambalam means the big consciousness is showing in a small form is here. They're showing a life force whirling around. As you start to focus on this will take you into the bigger light. It's called the Dhananjaya, Vayu. So Dhananjaya Vayu, when the mother produces the baby, Dhananjaya Vayu comes in. The last Vayu that goes out of our body is also Dhananjaya Vayu. When you're dying, that Vayu goes out. That's the final Vayu. It will stay for another 40 years. That's why dead bodies, we don't, put fire. Most sage scientists say you have to bury them. Right? So, this Dhananjaya Vayu in between only, it will take you, if you extend that, It is a pathway. Sutirappavi Kairatru Pogumun Sukuma Kaitre Parada. This is a song. Kunangudi Mastan Sahib. This is a Islamic scientist who talks about this, that there is a there is a Sutirappavi, right? There is a Sukuma Kaire Parada. There's a thread that goes from inside you. Don't waste your time, buddy. Come on, take that thread and go up when you're living.
So, Dr. Sean, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I think because we are already over an hour, I know Sarah has prepared a few more questions, but I think because the time is short, and we also want to know a little bit of the retreat, because we talked about the retreats that you have been holding in the past. So this upcoming retreat, maybe you can tell us about the audience, and maybe some of the Sarah's questions can be continued in the next webinar. I mean, every weekend you have a webinar, right?
Yeah.
Would that be okay, Sarah? I mean, we can because we really need to finish off quickly, and we need to know what's going to happen in the retreat, right? Because I'm quite curious. What are you planning for the retreat, etc.?
Yes. So we
How
have
does it
been
work?
planning retreats across United States now. At least in 5 states we have done this retreat. So now we are doing in North Carolina, 30th and 31st and 1st of February.
Where about in North Carolina?
Raleigh.
Raleigh. Okay.
So there we have sent the details. Details are here in the chat. Venetia shared with you. So you can take a look at it. And the idea of this retreat is to give a 3-day immersion experience of all our practices. So we wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Maybe you wake up earlier. So we start at 5:30 and then we'll go all the way to 9 o'clock. So a continuous blast of things. So each retreat I have been doing very differently, very uniquely. So because I am evolving also. I cannot do the same old thing. I catch up with time. So things come then and there. So we implement those things. In this retreat, we plan to do the stage therapy. Number 1. Second, deeper immersion, karmic, 12 karmic, how to remove the 12 karmas from our body. 12 karmic imprints, one by one, step by step process. And then we're going to do deep healing, marma healing into trauma, all the other traumas and other, deeper disease. If you have, we have this healing trauma. So we'll be doing holistic photo medicine, which I did last time in the thing. So we'll also include holistic photo medicine. These are important. And then we'll do a group healing. So these are some things that how you can use human people to heal each other. So when we go into a common conscious state, you can heal, but that only at moment you can heal, not every time, because then the rest of the time you will be an ordinary person. But there is a particular state that we can take all of us together.
Everybody almost has some symptoms. Everybody has some kind of symptoms or the other. So are there certain kind of disease or symptoms that you will be addressing in this retreat, or anybody can come, or are there some other symptoms that you think would not be appropriate? And
Yeah.
is there any
This is for
limitations?
everybody. This is for everybody. The way it is that, see, these are the protocols. If your what is death? If you look at what is death or any kind of diseases, if you lack the biomagnetic energy in you, and if that biomagnetic cannot heal the disease in you, then this is what the whole problem comes. So if you know how to intensify the biomagnetism, like this glass, the sun's rays comes through the glass ordinarily straight. But if you put a lens, a convex lens, so therefore when they're just practicing, they're trying to treat a disease, it will not work out. It's like a plain glass. But I am giving methods. I am giving methods to convert you into a lens, a biomagnetic lens. And you will see that in the 3 days that you're doing, your intensification happens. Once you have you know how to intensify your biomagnetic energy, wherever the healing is very easy for you. It is preventive method also. You will not have disease after some time. If you continue to do that, you will stop having disease. Your body will not have disease. That's the first step. Okay.
What you're saying is it is meant for prevention. So if you don't have very obvious symptoms in your body,
Right.
you still will benefit. And if you
Yes.
have symptoms, whatever it is, because it's a very, very general overarching technique, you will still benefit, right? So the other
Exactly.
question related to this is how expensive is it? I mean, is it affordable? Is it expensive? And then
Yes.
you also have a membership scheme. I mean, how does it work, right?
So we used to, in the first workshop, we used to do it for $1,500 for this. Everybody attended. Sarah attended, you attended, many people, right? Here. So what we did in the next workshop, few workshops, after 2-3 workshops, we reduced it to
You mean retreat, right?
$799.
Rather, you mean retreats.
Retreats, sorry, retreats, right? So $799. Now, because many people are interested, he even brought down the to even affordable, made it $399 for everybody so that everybody can attend. Our goal is for people to attend, and this also should sustain. So 3 days. It's an immersion program, and high quality food is given. We are giving more importance to even the little food that you eat there. Everything is organically made, and also ancient recipes. So you will be eating that kind of food, right? That kind of beverages, everything there. And also the rooms are also cheap. You can buy, if you're sharing a room, it's like a queen suite. 3 people can stay with a couch, a bed, So it costs, $89 for the whole thing. So you'll be paying less than, $29 in that case, right? So if you're a bachelor coming, or, if you're a single person, right? So you can use that opportunity to share also. You're welcome. And as a family also, it is very easier, and you can stay in one place. So because the reason we picked this, I also saw into retreat centers there, but they have limitations, like only 13 people can come and etc. So we decided this hotel model for now, but in the future, we can do bigger retreat centers where we can do this. Even Sarah's place also, she has a retreat center, so we can find out, what we can do. Places, yeah.
Yeah, so we can just maybe anybody has any questions, just last question. I think we should wrap up the webinar today.
Someone has patiently had their hand raised for a
Yes,
while.
please, yes. SK 16 Pro, yes, please.
Hey, good morning, Dr. Shan. I think you touched upon it a little bit in between. Do we really need to eat eggs to get protein?
Not really, because if you look at any animals, they rely on basic things. So what do they do? The hens eat egg to produce egg, protein. Think about it. So as I told you, the Saptadhatu, see whether what you're believing is now. Are you believing in your ancient sage scientist who meditated and got this knowledge? Statistically also, not one person, I'm not talking a religion. Thousands of sage scientists who talked about Saptadhadus, how any food you eat, it is converted into 7 types of tissues, where protein is converted. So even in modern science, if you talking from modern science perspective also, protein food, if you take an elephant, what does it eat? You tell me. Elephants, does it take giraffe's milk or any other animal's milk? Or does it, eat any non-vegetarian food to get protein? Does it eat any egg? How it is strong? How it is for forming the flesh and the bones? So this is all human-made thing. Then they will do this. You cannot even find, because lot of people come together and if you put it in a thing, lot of people who learn the modern science, doctors and everybody will say, hey, this is the mechanism. It's all stupid. It is crap, I'm telling you. His body is intelligence. It will convert into protein. Believe me, when you assimilate, eat very chew nicely and eat, all the saptadha conversion will happen. The mindful eating is very important to have all the different elements converted. If you is swallowing and enough bodhaka kapha, the saliva is not secreted properly, then the conversion may not happen properly. Absorption, conversion, all these are important, but protein normally will happen no matter what. You don't need eggs for protein. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else has any?
Thank you.
Anybody else has any questions? Otherwise, I think we wrap up. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for conducting
Okay,
the
thank you.
session, preparing these questions. They're very insightful. And thank you, Dr. Shan.
Thank you.
And
We'll see maybe next week we'll continue with the other questions. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's an interesting
Thank you.
topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.